start off, welcome to the podcast, Matt. I think this is the first time we've recorded any such thing.
It is. Thank you. Yeah.
You are our Syrinx product manager, right?
Correct.
I always get product manager and project manager confused, so I'm glad I got the right one this time.
Hey, love it.
Okay, so since you are the Syrinx, the guy to go to for Syrinx information, what happened with Syrinx in Q1 of 2023? I just want some highlights. I don't want every single thing from the release notes.
No, that's fine. So in Q1, we spent a lot of time focusing on completing the development for Syrinx 365. So that's our biggest thing we're going to have out this year. And we've managed to finish the development on it a little bit early. So that's given us more time to be able to test it internally so that when it goes out, hopefully everything's a much smoother experience for everyone. So that's been the big focus. But then along with that, we've also got the usual V4 developments coming through. So we've had a bunch of things from Uinnovate. So just a couple of those we've added the ability to select a checklist on an advice note. So that was quite a highly voted one. So in that you could include questions relating to sort of safe delivery of products. So you might have chemical products. Questions might include, have we supplied the storage instructions, has the product been kept upright, and things like that. So that's one that we've added. We've added the ability to print a PDF from the Workshop app, which has been a really highly requested development. So we've pushed that one through. Privilege against users, so you can define who's able to complete a legally required service job. That's another one that's been very popular. And you can also now import supplier discount percentages against sales items. So they're sort of the big ones from Uinnovate. And then the last one is the fact that we've updated our Sage 50 transfer tool so that it works with their newer version, which is 25.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think most of those tend to explain themselves, but I don't think we've done a huge job of marketing or explaining what the difference is between Syrinx 365 and Syrinx V4. So when you're talking about development of Syrinx 365, what's being developed there?
So there's a lot of investment that's been put into the background and the framework of 365. So one of the big things around that is obviously security and sort of everything's obviously supported. We've moved away from Access 2010, so we're now on the 365 Access runtime. And the big piece behind that, which is where the investment really comes in, is the speed to value for our customers. So rather than having sort of our Syrinx team doing the developments, we now have essentially the whole development team of Point of Rental can develop something, and that could be utilized by Syrinx if we really like that piece that's been done by Team B or Team C. We could say, okay, we really want to utilize that. We'll pull it in, so we've got the ability to bring the value and the new features to our customers a lot quicker. So that's the big piece behind that. Something that's gone down really quite well when we've demoed it to customers is the search screens. So the search screens are a lot more customizable. You can sort of move columns around. You can make them wider, smaller. You can filter on pretty much any column that's within that area of the system. So it's a lot more flexible, a lot more customizable, and that's an area where customers or the users spend a lot of time in the system. So when that isn't particularly good to look at or it's a bit difficult, it makes their work a bit difficult. So that's something that's had quite an impact for the customers we've shown it to.
Good. Yeah, I know that we have a lot of developers within this company, so it's good to be able to use all of their skills rather than just having this one little group focused on this one thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, it's going to have a massive difference once the development ramps up and everyone is able to develop in this new way that allows us to be able to consume that. Then yeah, it's going to have a massive impact for, like I say, speed to value.
Awesome. So I know product managers love being asked to project the future because everyone knows exactly what's going to happen. So I'm just going to start off so you don't have to. Everything you say here could change. This only represents the most likely developments that are in the pipeline. that are going to be released over the next couple months, quarter, really. So what should people using Syrinx expect to see coming up in quarter two?
So Q2, we've got a couple of themes that we're working towards right now. So they are payments, and then also our consumer portal. But then along with that, like I say, we'll continue dealing with the 365 internal testing and things like that, along with the you innovate ideas and things going through. But regarding payments in Syrinx, currently you can only take payments against the cash customer. We're working on adding the ability to take payments against account customers. So where the payment would be transferred across using the account the transfer tool to the account solution. So it's going to be sort of all of that workflow built in. So we're working on that. And then in terms of the consumer portal, we'll hopefully be delivering that. The first iteration of that. That's constantly evolving, the feature set in that. But the first iteration of that should hopefully be released. That's what we're aiming for. And that will do things. That will show the hire company's customers, or as we call them, the consumers. That will be able to show them their contracts, the equipment that they've got on hire. It can show them their invoices. It'll allow them to request an off hire. And yeah, there'll be lots of great stuff coming in this area as well.
Good. That sounds helpful. I like to be able to manage my own accounts. I know that I wouldn't be eager to call a hire counter all the time and just be like, hey, I'm just checking in on this thing. Whereas, if I have a consumer portal, I can check that out.
That's it. It's great from that perspective, and it also frees up the people in the hire company as well. It frees them up to be able to be doing other things. So yeah, it's winner all round.
Yeah, because the person that's the opposite of me and is not concerned about calling in for all these things. It's like, man, this guy's calling again. Like, it's the same place it was last time. Gosh.
Yeah. No, they'll be able to see it.
Awesome. Okay. I also want everyone to have a little opportunity to get to know our product managers a little bit. So I'm going to include a silly question each quarter. So here's your first silly question. If you could have a dinner with any living person, who would it be and why? Notice that I'm not including dead people because that just makes the question weird.
That also makes it a lot harder as well. You've got a lot more people to choose from.
Yeah.
I think my person would have to be Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. So when I was a kid, I absolutely loved wrestling. Wrestling was like the thing I was into all the time. I'd watch it before school, after school. I'd stay up at, I think it was 2:00 in the morning or something like that, when we'd have like the big pay-per-view type events on. I used to record them on the old VHS. But yeah, no, absolutely loved it. So with him being the People's Champion, he was always my favorite. But I like most of the films that he does, whether it's the Fast and Furious, whether it's San Andreas, Jungle Cruise. Like there's tons of them, but I really, really like his films generally. I can't think of a particularly bad film that he's ever done, so that's always good. But he's got a ridiculously good sort of work ethic and determination, like whether it's the amount of hours he puts into the gym, or whether it's sort of like how he appears to be on set. When you see videos, when you see sort of people talking about him, it seems like when he's on set for acting, like he's always sort of the first person there, last person to leave type of thing. He always wants it to be perfect, but then at the same time, again, how it appears on social media and stuff, it just seems like he has that sort of perfectly balanced life with home, with work, and then cramming in time for all the gymming that he does. Like, it's insane. I'd love to just talk about all of it.
Okay, now I'm a little bit curious. What is this dinner? Is he cooking? Are you cooking? Are you going out somewhere? Because I feel like one of you guys should cook, so he can either ask you, "Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?" or you can ask him and just make it really weird.
I would love for him to cook for me just so that I could ask. But yeah, I think it'd probably have to be me, because I think he has a chef a lot of the time. So I don't know what his cooking would be like.
That's a good point. All right. Well, thanks, Matt. I look forward to catching up with you next quarter. See, this wasn't so hard.
Awesome. Thank you very much.